Hey Sleepy Fam, this is Ron again, and today I'm bringing you a quick demo overview of the sampler function in Hypno 2. This is going to be a more chill overview of kind of how the basic sampling works. The sampler shader is supporting either stills, so like you see here when you just start up, or videos. When videos are loaded into the sampler shader, you'll actually see that the default 3 controls here change to something different. So instead of being the offsets here, if we load something like video pack, you'll see that we actually get loop in and loop out. As of a recent patch, tapping the key again, once you've already have the page open, will reset that video to the loop in point. In addition to the loop in, setting the loop in and out, you can also control how loop in and out affects the video. So as you can see here, we have a little icon here. It says loop. That's the basic function. That means that whenever we reach the end of the video, we're going to reset. If we turn up the frame rate here, it's going to be a little more obvious. So I can loop a little chunk of this video here. There's also a few other functions that are available. There's obviously the one shot. That means that I can kind of re-trigger this and play it one at a time like a classic sampler. And then there's bounce mode, which is kind of like a ping pong loop. So it's going to go to every endpoint, bounce off of it, play backward, and again, which makes kind of a neat effect. And then some really interesting play modes include next and previous. These will actually go through your current folder, so it's as if you pressed one of these arrow keys to go to the next file at the end of the playback. This is particularly interesting because if you have the two channels set up to different folders, you can effectively have a extremely long thing playing in the background because you're always going to be going to the next video. So you can essentially use this as a sort of playlist function, and then you can mix from one folder into another folder, one playlist to another playlist. So if you carefully organize your folders, you're going to be able to do some pretty complex stuff with this functionality. Then you can start and stop the files individually if you have a thing playing. This start-stop transport is actually contextual, so if you're in the main channel, this is going to stop and start everything, which means both videos on both channels. Or if you're in here, you're going to start and stop that particular video. Stopping and starting will also reset to the start point. And now let's take a look at what parameters are available in the sampling function. When you have a sampler with multiple frames loaded, so an actual video versus just a still, we're going to see extra parameters here on the first page, including loop in, frame rate, and loop out. Frame rate, if you set it to 0, is actually the base playback speed. And then if you take it negative, and even take it past -1, you'll actually see that we'll start playing the video in reverse. The play functions will also loop backwards or start bouncing in one direction versus the other when resetting. Let's check out the other ones. As with everything, if you go left, we're going to go straight into the color page. So that means that we can offset the hue of the video, which looks pretty cool. We can affect the chrominance, which means we can boost the saturation of all the colors, or we can take it into the negative to make the video black and white. Here, if I mix out the second channel, you'll see that this video right here is now black and white. Going even further to the right instead of the left is going to take us into our classic frequency X and Y offset. This allows you to position the video anywhere on the screen. We can then sort of resample and collage this. If you take frequency, reset it to 0, and take it to the negative direction, you'll actually start getting the kind of classic Hypno style mirroring function here, which is also pretty cool. I'm going to reset it here so we can check out the other parameters. Let's see what else we have in here. So we have some cropping functions in here. Super helpful for, once again, taking out very specific chunks of your video. Then we have the Y cropping as well. So as you can see, I can very carefully take this bird out and get a little square of a bird and get a really precise edit on like what I'm trying to do. There's also a rotation, which rotates the video. Also pretty self-explanatory, I hope. And then we have aspect stretching. So X and Y aspect stretching. As you can see, this will give us a very stretched out bird. If you get confused at any point, you can hit init here. These initialize is contextual, so because I'm currently selected on channel 1, I was going to ask me if I want to initialize that channel. I'm going to hit yes. I'm going to get back right to the way this bird always was when we just loaded it. Let's see what else we got. Here at the end, we have the classic mirror amount, just like in Hypno 1, and then the mirror rotation, which is the axis of that. This works over everything else. Here we have the Luma key controls, so you can take out the lows of the image, or you can take out the highs. Just make sure to take this into the negative. And then if these ranges cross, actually the range that is valid gets inverted. You'll see it's just a slightly different effect. Then we have the classic polarization. The polarization is going to take the video and kind of warp it into polar coordinates, which just kind of is a cool effect that you can use for messing around with your videos. Works particularly well when you take the frequency into the negative direction here, so that we can fill up the whole frame with all the repetitions. And finally, we have the cross modulation and then the feedback modulation amount. You do the feedback mod, that means you're feeding this video back into itself. As you can see, this gives us kind of a cool sort of texture here, kind of vibrating and organically mixing. You want just a little bit of this. And then I can take that out and do cross modulation. On the other channel, I currently have the test image, as you can see. And then if you pay close attention here, you'll see that I have cross modulation on, which means that this video, even though it's mixed out this test pattern, it is affecting and offsetting this bird video for an interesting effect. And then, as you can imagine, you can also set that up on the other side to get a cross modulation of the feedbacks. So there is all of these kind of feedback patching paths. So yeah, that's all the controls. Don't forget anything I showed you here. If you just hit the label, we can start modulating it either with CV, clocks, or the audio input. So really, the sky is the limit. And that's pretty much it for the sampler functionality. Stay tuned for more quick demos. Thanks for listening, and stay sleepy.